Hello, everybody. My name is Ray. Welcome to the Evangelical Dark Web. Today, we'll be talking about Bruce Jenner running for governor of California. This is just a horrendous choice of candidate if you decide to vote for him. And we're going to run through the top 5 reasons why Bruce Jenner is a terrible candidate for governor of California to replace and challenge Gavin Newsom in a recall. So, number 5, and these are in no particular order, but Bruce Jenner cannot win the evangelical vote. Now, evangelicals are a key Republican base. Obviously, if you're going to get a non-Democrat governor of California, you need Republican votes. And a key base of the Republican Party is evangelicals, and they won't turn out to vote for a transvestite. So that's just putting it bluntly as possible. And this is not only a transvestite, but also a transvestite who committed manslaughter and pretty much got away with that. A guy can commit manslaughter, turn into a woman, and all of a sudden it's all forgotten. But, you think about all the people that raised issues over Trump's character, and now there is a legitimate crowd that was deeply concerned about Trump's character. There was a lot of virtue signaling about people who had no problem with a Mormon and no problem with John McCain, who's an overall dirtbag who, divorced his wife for the younger model and, was just a piece of human garbage. They had no problem with those people and their character issues, but, Donald Trump's character issues were an issue. But obviously, there were a significant amount of people who, at least in 2016, did not vote for Trump because they did not trust his character. I was one of those people. And, there's a lot of people like that. And those people will not turn out for Bruce Jenner. So letting you know that now, that is a terrible decision. Like, the whole idea of trying to appeal to the homosexuals and transvestites is, tripping, or, you're losing dollars to pick up nickels type of thing, That is how bad of a political strategy that is. You need to focus on your base and then expand your base, but you shouldn't be expanding your base at the cost of your core base. So that's reason number 1. He will hemorrhage evangelical turnout. Reason number 2, he will pretty much destroy black Republican outreach. That is reason number 2. So when you look at the Democrat primaries, who is their least popular candidate? Pete Buttigieg, or Buttigieg. He was their least popular candidate, and I think we all know why, because black people aren't as into that as woke white people. And, Bruce Jenner, transvestite, same thing. Just like how, number 3 is just like number 2 and number 1, he will hemorrhage the Hispanic turnout because they, like black people, like evangelical white people, are not into nominating transvestites for political office. That is woke white behavior. Bruce Jenner is a guy who suffers from autogynephilia, and let's just break down what that means. Auto means one or self in this case. So self, gynephilia, as in like women, gynecology type thing. And so basically, what I'm trying to say is he is sexually attracted to the image of himself as a woman. That is autogynephilia. But don't just take my word from it. Those are the words from Dr. Paul McHugh of Johns Hopkins. He was a long time psychiatrist at Johns Hopkins Hospital, which is one of the best hospitals in the country. They actually pioneered sex change operations, but now they won't do them anymore. So that tells you something about their effectiveness in treating gender dysphoria. But Bruce Jenner is someone who has autogynephilia, and that, again, there's a large segment of the population that does not want to reward that and make it governor of a pretty large state. So those were the top 3 reasons. Number 4, he's not a real conservative. And, I know I've seen him like on TV, he talks a good game, but at the end of the day, most people in Hollywood are so out of touch with actual everyday conservatives. They're not even close. Like, let's talk about some people that come to mind on this issue. You have Matthew McConaughey, who's thinking about running for governor of Texas. He's not actually conservative at all. He's a Hollywood conservative, but that's not a real conservative. Another more prominent example is Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood actually spoke at the Republican National Convention of 2012, and he had the most cringeworthy segment where he was talking to a chair, and the chair was supposed to have Barack Obama in it. It was cringe worthy, and he's not a real conservative either, because guess who he endorsed in 2016? He endorsed, 2020, he was endorsing Michael Bloomberg, as in the guy who supports, who ran perhaps a more overtly pro-Chinese Communist Party campaign than Joe Biden himself. So, that's who Clint Eastwood thought would make a good president, is Michael Bloomberg. So obviously he's not a real conservative either. I've listened to even like Gina Carano, and she's, I don't dislike her at all. I just don't think she's all that conservative. I just don't think she's given over to a cult. So there's this mentality that nominating a celebrity is, there are celebrity conservatives out there and they should run for office, and that's not the case. That is, there are a lot fewer actual celebrities that are conservative than you think there are. And, in California, you should have learned this lesson with Arnold Schwarzenegger, who, was the governor of California, and he was terrible, and Republicans hated him. Yet, all these people outside of California really want to see Bruce Jenner run for governor. They really want to see Richard Grenell run for governor. It's like these people aren't conservative. And, the California GOP, as a Marylander, I'm a little bit jealous that, our Republican Party is so incompetent that the California GOP looks pretty good by comparison, because they actually did get a recall effort successfully off the ground. So, like I said, he's not a real conservative. He's out of touch with actual conservatives that are on the ground, that, are in the plebeian class, so to speak. And he's not one of us. That and the fact that if you think you're the opposite gender, what are you trying to conserve? So, just throw it out there. I don't think he was a conservative regardless of the transvestiteness. But, being a transvestite and a conservative is a bit of a contradiction, because what are you trying to conserve? Last reason is that Bruce Jenner is a terrible candidate is opportunity cost. So that is the alternative. What is the best alternative? That is your opportunity cost economic term, if you're unfamiliar with it. So who would the alternative be? Obviously, Gavin Newsom would be the alternative candidate. And I think with Bruce Jenner, you get 69% of the policies that Gavin Newsom would enact, but none of the pushback from the Republican Party. So you see that with a lot of Republican governors and lockdowns and their lockdown fetishes, where, a governor like Larry Hogan or Mike DeWine gets very little pushback because they have an R next to their name and not a D. But within the context of the recall effort, there are so many better options out there. And I'm not a Californian. I live on the opposite side of the country, but I am vaguely familiar that, there's like a mayor in San Diego that is a strong contender. Obviously, Richard Grenell, I don't think is very conservative at all. And, he's promoting everything that we're against, basically. But, he loves Trump. But there's him, Konstantinos Raditis, who ran for treasurer in 2018. He got the most votes cast of any Republican on a statewide ballot. So that's, and again, the Republicans got swept in 2018 in California, but he got the highest percentage, and he's actually a solid conservative. So someone like that, those are the types of people that would make good candidates to overturn Gavin Newsom, because the recall effort should be about Gavin Newsom. Usually if you're being recalled, it's because you've done a bad job. So it should be about him, not the alternative. Do not make it a joke by putting a transvestite as the opponent to Gavin Newsom. That is how you lose and waste an opportunity. Now, congratulations to the Californians. I wish you all the luck in the world on your recall effort, and I really wish all these celebrities would stay out and let you guys on the ground do your thing and get a quality candidate against Gavin Newsom, and get all these celebrities out of there. You guys don't need Caitlyn Jenner, or you don't need Richard Grinnell, you don't need Aubrey Huff, the baseball player guy who said some things that are basically disqualifying. Like, you can't just trash single moms on Twitter. Like, that'll come back to haunt you. So 5 reasons why Bruce Jenner's a terrible candidate. I think he'll hemorrhage the evangelicals, the Hispanics, the blacks, because they are uninterested in nominating a guy with autogynephilia as governor of California, because those are some real character issues. And then he's not a real conservative. That's 4. And then the opportunity cost is way too high. So that's all I got to say about that. And hopefully this candidacy just is a massive grift for suckers to donate their money to and just fizzles away, because no one actually wants that. I don't think he really has a base other than woke, white, millennial, and Gen Z Republicans. I think those are the only people that are interested in a Bruce Jenner gubernatorial run. So hopefully this is all I have to say on the issue, but let me know what you have to say on the issue in the comments section below. My name's Ray. This is the Evangelical Dark Web. Be sure to subscribe. I pointed to the right direction this time, to the channel and to the website at evangelicaldarkweb.org. Have a blessed day, and I will catch you on the next one.